And they keep taking me to all these stories that are just so, they're heart-wrenching and scary and sad and relatable. We've all been there, right? It is. I mean, I have been there, and I have fallen into the traps and gone along with the traps and dishonored myself and did things I shouldn't have because I was looking to get, right? Because I didn't know what love was. I didn't know how it felt to love oneself, to tell oneself the truth, to see through the fog, right? You're looking to get acceptance, validation, love, because you don't know what love is. Or you're scared. Oh, that was one of the big ones they were showing this morning. Oh God, one too many times. Where I don't even know how to describe this one. It was like the lesser of two evils is what it feels like sometimes. It feels like the only power you have. Sometimes you think it's the safest route. Versus risking, or standing up for yourself. And sometimes we really are placed in those hard positions, and we have to be real with ourselves and honest with ourselves. And they're pulling a lot into this one. It's like the idea of who are you really scared of, right? Humans can harm the physical body for sure, but they can't touch your soul. And so you have to decide, are you going to lose your soul? You're going to give away pieces of you because you're afraid of the physical harm, right? And it's like, you just have to believe in yourself a little bit each day, a little bit more every day. And it's like when you see yourself slipping, obviously the sooner the better, right? Take it from one who knows. It's like, don't keep diving into it. But sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're so disillusioned and so upside down, so topsy-turvy, because you're falling into the mirage, right? So say, for instance, you did it because you wanted to belong. Well, now you're belonging more and more, and you're going deeper and deeper in the throes of dragons and lions, like people who are going to tear you to shreds, but you don't realize it because all you wanted to do was belong, right? So now you belong. Oh, you belong, all right. And they're getting their claws in tight before they shred you. But we don't see that, right? So in other words, that's what I mean by you go falling deeper and deeper when you're looking outside oneself, when you haven't been aligned with oneself and stay aligned with oneself, which takes daily practice because there's constant temptation and confusion and delusion all around us. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like I keep showing me all these stories of all these, it's kids and adults and all types that they're looking to get, right? They're not filling up from the inside out. They're looking from the outside in, thinking that'll work, but it'll never work that way. It doesn't work that way, which is why you become addicted to it and why you continue to seek more and more and more and more and more and more and more, because it's not satiating you. It never will satiate you. You have to love yourself and connect with yourself and fill up from the inside out. And so you get addicted to the outside seeking, and you just will never calm then. But so anyway, you slip into these things, whatever it is that you're looking to get outside oneself, and you usually do fall prey to the one who's going to shred you. And you have to piece yourself back together. or keep sinking in there and see. And there's nightmares out there all over the place. So here's the thing. Okay, slow down so I can get some of this out. It's like, a lot of the stuff we see on the news is more rare than the masses. And so then we don't recognize that, but then it adds that fright and that spook and that scare in us. And you think it's everywhere, and it's not. And yet it is infiltrated much larger and wider than we recognize. And so again, it's not about combating against or resisting or any of that. That's not going to serve us at all. It's going to call more of it in. It's just going to make it scary. And then you have fear and fright. And then you get confused. You get topsy-turvy. None of that is of any use to you. What's of use to you is starting to learn what it means to love yourself, starting to learn what it means to fill up from the inside out, figuring out what that means for you so you can get back in connection with yourself, your higher self, and get your direct connection with unconditional love, source, Allah, the universe, Allah, whatever name you want to call the greatest and highest vibration of all, the thing that makes you float. But many people don't even know what that feels like, right? Because they haven't done that kind of connection or feeling before. They've always had to seek outside oneself to get a glimpse of that. And that's not even a glimpse of it. So it's like unwinding and untwisting all of that confusion and delusion and those lies of seeking outside oneself or waiting for something outside yourself to come save you. And you have to figure that out for yourself and save yourself and unravel it yourself. And the more you do, the more you show and prove that you love yourself and forgive yourself and continually do that work, it's like the more you'll see and recognize and feel better. And so then it's almost like the stuff in the news, it can also just be that scary warning, like, oh my God, had I kept going on that path, had I, this or that, or seeing the extreme example, right? Like maybe yours isn't nearly as extreme, let's hope. And you're like, oh, that was very similar. I had done the same thing. I was looking to get outside myself, even if it was just with my friends yesterday when we were out talking, instead of, speaking up or saying, whatever, I went along with the laugh. I went along with the joke. I this or that. It's like we're not honoring ourselves and then sticking around and hanging out with them all the time. It just encourages that behavior and enables that thought process if it's not, and it's like a way of saying you agree with it. You're lumping yourself into that. And so then you continue to surround yourself by that. Soon enough, you become that. And then you're like, this isn't who I am. Well, it sure looks like it, sounds like it. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And so you have to choose for yourself. And it sucks. It sucks. And it's confusing and it's challenging and difficult based on a billion reasons, right? Everybody has their stuff. And it's like we're trained on every level to seek outside ourselves or wait, right? Wait for that. And it's like, well, it's within you. You have to unlock it within to get your direct connection. And I feel like every religion, every philosophy, every, great poet, all the answers are there and it's woven throughout it. And yet it doesn't matter because if you're at that lower vibration of fear, you can't hear those truths. And a lot of us are living in the lower vibrations of fear or scarcity or lack or, all these things. And when we're down there, we cannot hear. That's why you'll hear a lot of teachers tell you to relax. You have to this, that. It's because they understand that until you let go of that tight grip, until you relax, you can't hear. You're like clogging up your ears. So it's not like it's all the answers once you relax. It's that you can float up to start to unravel and unwind and figure it out and allow and receive in unconditional love, that healing, that understanding, that relaxation that's needed to see clearly. And that's why it's like it's not to blame or shame, because I understand a lot of people in those lower vibrations are in that lower vibrations due to fright, due to experiences that they didn't learn from, right? They ended up having it happen over and over and over again and couldn't get out of that cycle. And we've all been there. We might not have recognized it or acknowledged it or understood it as the way I'm verbalizing it. Yet we've all done that. That's the part of growing and maturing as any human being. You get stuck in cycles until you recognize you're repeating a pattern that isn't serving you. And then you have to be like, oh, so let's not do that. And then I can move ahead. And so, a lot of the people that are in the lower vibrations, it's like they haven't figured out why or the pattern or seeing what they need to release. And this is why it's like, you don't want to kick a dead horse. It's like you want to encourage them to relax. You want to encourage them to love themselves. You want to encourage them to get the help that they need until they can hear it, to go within. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think for me, and that's, that's how I learned. And, what I understand is ultimately that's the only thing that's going to help it all. And that's why there are a million beautiful techniques out there to help you relax, to help you release, to help you unwind, to help you unravel, to help you understand, to help you all these things, so that hopefully the goal is now to, okay, now that you've done all that, now you can hear what it means. How's it feel? Right? And what are your answers, right? What will make you happy? How do you want to live this life? And you have to reconnect with your higher self. You have to forgive yourself for being in said scenarios, for not honoring and loving yourself, for not standing up for yourself. And it's a process. It's not like, oh, okay, you flip a switch, you're done. Some things are that easy. But the bigger things, take a lot more time, or at least have for me, right? They've been continual process. And, and that's, for me, that's the work always, right? It's like to continue to up level, to continue to decide all the time, because we're choosing all the time. We're releasing limits all the time, beliefs all the time, repetition all the time that is no longer serving us, that is now keeping us stuck, stagnant, blocked. So it's like you have to constantly reevaluate that, because you're constantly changing and you're constantly having new goals and something to aim for, to, I want to learn this, I want to do that, I want to experience this. And so what am I doing that I'm not experiencing that now? What's stopping me? What am I telling myself? What limit have I placed upon myself? What have I repeated in my head? What is my belief? A belief is just something you're continually regurgitating or repeating or ruminating on, and you're convinced of because you've repeated it and ruminated and regurgitated it forever. So you have to be like, holy shit, I am still saying that. I didn't realize it because it got so quiet. It was such a faint whisper. It became background noise. I was just used to hearing it. And once you see it, you're like, oh my goodness, okay, well, let's rewrite that one's wrong. What's the new belief that'll get me to where I need to go? And so to me, that's a process. That's, something that you continually and continuously work on. Okay. I feel like they've been very serious lately. They've been very, very pushy with me lately, wanting me to get on here more and say all this stuff more. Maybe it's because I'm seeing it more in the news. And it's like more and more people need help. And I'm like, I don't know how else to help other than this. It's like, I feel like they want me to do something and I don't know what that is, which then upsets me. That I'm upsetting them. Ring around the rosy we go. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.